Okay, first of all, Mr. Tiffin, after leaving your role as a Sherlock, how do you compare between the OG and your own Sherlock?
How do I compare what, sorry?
Between the OG, the original, and your own Sherlock?
You mean like telling the story of young Sherlock as opposed to the older version of Sherlock?
Yep, true.
Yeah, I mean, I think every generation is entitled to retell Conan Doyle's works of Sherlock with
Yes.
whatever twist or spin they want. But even if you don't add much of a twist or a spin, I think it's always going to be fun because different generations, bring something different. But when we really exercise our right to play with the character and take him all the way back to, when he's 19 years old, it just opened doors for so much more fun and exploration. And I think the most fun thing about what Matthew Parkhill, our showrunner, has done with this story, or one of the many, there's so many to pick from, is the friendship with Moriarty. I think at first, as a fan of Sherlock, you go, that's just simply incorrect. But it doesn't take long for you to come around and realize how much this enriches the idea of them becoming enemies later. And it just makes the whole thing so much more loaded. And you just actually really enjoy watching them be friends. I think at the start you're gonna, be excited for that plane to crash and burn and them eventually be
Yeah.
enemies. But after a while, you're like, no, I don't want these guys to stop
Yeah.
being friends because it's fun to watch them.
Yeah, everything makes more sense, and I watch it, of course, and when I feel it like the friendship is, even though it's really great, it also makes sense if you connect it to the older characters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good. I'm
yeah.
glad you think
Glad to
so.
hear that.
Yeah.
As and also, okay, so Mr. Finn as well. How about your thoughts? Because like you're becoming this younger version of Moriarty, right? So how about your thoughts to compare to the original?
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to to give to show what it is that happens to both these characters that like shapes who we know they become, you know. So I think like the idea that when we meet Moriarty, he's there's nothing about him that suggests that he's like someone who's out to become to work with like under a guise of evil, or like that he has poor morality or anything. So he's just someone who's like had to I had to fight, and learn that fighting is a way of getting what you want in life. And he's probably had experiences that he's learned that that's true. And that also, I think it's interesting that like in the Arthur Conan Doyle books, he's probably quite a clear-cut villain because,
Yeah.
he's just like running riot on the British establishment. But he it's I think it's like interesting for us to see him as a really good friend, and you're like, oh, both things can be true, or at least he certainly was this at one point, and what is it that happened to him to shape him into the person that we know he becomes? So I think that those are the kind of the interesting things about like comparing it to where we know the character gets to and who we're seeing today. And yeah, I think it's about the the journey of like, and maybe the loss of innocence as well. I think even though he's a
Yeah.
pretty worldly man when we meet him, I think he's also there's the potential for him to be innocent and naive.
True. So lastly, do you guys have any words to the fans who are expecting this series that will be coming soon, right, to Prime Video?
Any words for the fans?
Yeah, the words for the
Watch it.
fans.
I'd start with.
Watch
I'd
it.
start with watch it.
Watch it.
Um,
True.
no, honestly, I think what we've done with this, so what we've set out to do with this series is pretty ambitious to try and touch on so many different genres, and kind of retell or reimagine so many fundamental aspects of the show. Uh, I think that's really ambitious, and I think thanks to Matthew and I guess everyone involved, I'm really, really proud of what we've done. It's by no means one-dimensional. It's so complex and layered, and every department head is incredible at what they do and somehow has managed to exceed themselves. Yeah, I'm I'm super proud of what we've done. I'm very confident people are going to like it, so watch it. Otherwise, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Totally, totally,
Yeah.
totally.
I think to add to that, if there's any like diehard Sherlock fans out there, then there's loads of like Easter eggs that are kind of like about just dropping in a suggestion of an influence that to Sherlock that will like later hugely shape who he becomes, you know, whether that's like deer stalkers, people commenting on his name, and like there's some things that Moriarty says to him as a as this young man that like when he becomes the infamous literary character, those quotes are accredited to Sherlock, and
Yeah, and
it's
he'll say
Yeah.
it to Watson, and now we'll watch it and go, "Oh my God, Sherlock got that from Moriarty." So it's fun for
Yeah, I
viewers
know.
and fans of
I
Sherlock.
noticed that too.
Similarly, you don't have to have watched
yeah.
any previous interpretations of Sherlock to enjoy
True.
this, we think. So it's good for everyone, good fun for everyone.
Yeah, true. It's been a short while though, but thank you so much for chatting with me.
Thank
Not at
you.
all.
A lot
Thank
more
you.